everybody. Is this actually working? My name is Bear from the internet, founder of RefugeMedical.com. I'm on my existential crisis rectangle and I don't see me right now.
Because you're in the wrong live stream. We have like 12. I have to go in and fix them right now.
Oh, well, I'm on the one that I posted. So, that's fun.
I see you. Yay. Melissa's here. So that works. I'm sorry, you guys.
So, it's one of the things with YouTube that's the worst about live streaming is the first 30 seconds is basically terrible content, and it's also the content that people see when they click on if they don't know you. And so YouTube must do better on this. They're the largest content platform in the world, owned by the largest search engine in the world, and they really just make it miserable for content creators, really starting to slide. And then people say things like, you should be on Rumble, and it's like, Rumble's terrible. Rumble is absolutely terrible to use from a content creator standpoint, which is why we are building a Mighty Networks classroom. Refuge is building a Mighty Networks classroom.
Just came right out and said it, didn't you?
I did. So stay tuned. If you're not on the email blast, you need to get on the email blast because we are building a Mighty Networks classroom.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. We've already started uploading content there for our Train the Trainer alumni, and it's really good. And it's the way Mighty Networks works is that you can build things out as a curriculum or a block of instruction to where, like, if there's 4 components to a block of instruction, you cannot go to components 2, 3, and 4 without first viewing being tested on component 1, right? There's gates and fences that you got to move through. Really cool. So if you're not on the Refuge email blast, sign up for the Refuge email blast, because when we launch that, go live with that. For the T3 alumni, Train the Trainer alumni, are already getting looped in on this stuff, but when we go public for the rest of y'all, that'll be available via email. I don't see another live stream on YouTube.
We are live. I'm watching you.
What I am saying is when I go to YouTube and search for Refuge Medical, I don't see another live stream. I see it now. How interesting.
I got rid of the other ones, so there wasn't so many, like, people there weren't so many that looked like they were live or whatever, or waiting.
Yeah.
So we've got 55 people here. People are starting to funnel in. Good morning, everybody. Oh, and what's really cool about Mighty Networks is we want to be able to host additional instructors from all over the country, and then you'll have the benefit from being able to take that class, but if you can't travel, you're not stuck missing it.
Well, and that goes into what we're calling the rec room, the Refuge Education Center, which rec room is also like recreation room. It's also recording room. And so we have another building not far from where I'm sitting right now, where we're going to turn that into, one end is going to be a studio, the other end is going to be a dedicated classroom. And so that's really cool, because then when we have, say, for example, folks like Evan from Radio Made Easy that are traveling from their home state to come here and teach a block of instruction here, and Radio Made Easy is coming up pretty quick, then there's a few seats left for that. So if you have a radio and don't know how to use it, refugemedical.com, click the training tab.
We sold out.
Is it sold out?
It's sold out.
Disregard.
Sorry, guys.
We got a wait list.
Move more quickly next time.
We said that over and over.
Okay. Move more quickly next time. And I'm very pleased that classes are selling out. They are selling out. I mean, even Wilderness Responder, which is a high ticket item, that's 35% of available inventory is sold already. So anyway, when somebody like Evan or Snowbird, Ed from the Iridium Group comes down, or whoever it is, and they want to teach a block of instruction, We can bring them into the rec room and film their block of instruction and turn that into coursework, which now is a digital product that lives on the internet forever that you can access on your time instead of having to travel from wherever you are to come here. Does that replace in-person training? It does not. It augments in-person training. In-person training is priceless. It's absolutely priceless. Carl and Emery, tactical riflemen, two of my buddies. The first Waco class that we taught, they were astounded that we were, in their words, making civilians do the things that we were making them do. Carl thought it was some military unit that we were training. He's like, dude, you're doing this to civilians? I'm like, yeah. And they paid for it. They're asking for it. To the point where they felt the need to address the class and let the class know in all of their broad military careers, they had never seen another civilian tactical medical class like this. And so that can't be duplicated or replaced digitally. That's why you got to come in person. But it will absolutely augment in-person training. Which brings me to my first point this morning. I was messaging with a bro. What's up, Indiana Constitutional Patriots? Phenomenal human being. And we're working on, we're prototyping a product right now. What it is doesn't matter. And you'll know it when you see it. And I reached out to him because I wanted his thoughts on it. And he was like, here's some good, here's some bad, sustain, improve. Awesome, appreciate that. And he said, here's the thing. And he's a iron worker, millwright, that kind of, steel, dirty, just grinders and cutters and just hard working dude. And he said, here's the thing. He goes, I literally carry a tourniquet in my back pocket. And he sent me a picture of it. He goes, but nobody else does. And he's like, we had a guy that got cut with a 6-inch blade and almost cut his arm off. And, there was no tourniquets. And so somebody took a roll of duct tape and duct taped his arm back together. And then we had another guy that had a crush injury. I want to equip and empower y'all in the construction industries. There is, since 2021, now you guys know me, I don't appreciate being compelled to do anything by the federal government, if you work in construction, you are not getting onto the job site without your hard hat and at least your OSHA 10 hour, if not your OSHA 40 hour, maybe your MSHA 10 hour, and then your site-specific safety orientation sticker on the side of your helmet. Okay, we all know this. What you don't know, and what your safety guys don't know, and what is civilly, if not criminally negligent for your safety guys, write this down. Pencil, crayon, whatever you got. Grease. ANSI, 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 /ISEA, International Safety something Association. ANSI ISEA, and the statute is 308.1. Now, if you're a firearms guy, you should be able to remember 308. 308.1-2021. ANSI ISEA 308.1-2021. Why? Why do you care? Because that is the statute that requires one of these, a commercially available windlass tourniquet, to be within 4 minutes of a point of injury on a construction site. So if you're on a construction site and there's no tourniquets, and it also requires training on the tourniquet. So ask all your safety guys, where are the tourniquets? Let me inspect them, and why haven't we been trained on this? And if they give you some line of bull, they are civilly, if not criminally negligent for violating ANSI ISEA 308.1-2021. Just like they would be civilly, if not criminally negligent, if they didn't have their fire extinguishers where they're supposed to be. They didn't have AEDs in the appropriate place. If they let you walk around on the job site without a hard hat on. And it's so freaking dumb. I'm gonna try and watch my language this morning. It's so freaking dumb that bleeding control is just glossed over. Oh, you don't have hard hat or you don't have steel toe boots, you don't get on this job site. But we just have no problem openly violating 308.1. No problem. These shades. If you've ever been on the job site, you know your shade's got to be Z87 certified. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. We know Z87. It's a catchphrase on a job site, right? You can't show up with your cool aviator glasses on the job site. You got to have Z87 eyeballs. But we have no problem violating 308.1. Now, I don't want you to lose your eyeballs either. I don't want you to lose your toes, but I definitely don't want you to die. I don't want you to bleed out. And while OSHA is trying with their 4-minute statute, 4 minutes from the point of injury to where the tourniquet is at, number one, who's 4 minutes? My 4 minutes or your 4 minutes? Because if I run slower than you do, you're dead by the time I get back. Number two, where is it 4 minutes from here? Number three, have you been trained with it? Number four, if it's 4 minutes away and I got a femoral bleed, by the time you get back with a tourniquet, that patient's dead. Which is why life-saving medical equipment should be carried on your person, because on a job site, I don't know where the point of injury is going to be. And if it's not on your person or augmented on your person, and all of our heavy equipment, grindstone and my personal heavy equipment, I have a blowout kit mounted in the skid steer, in the track hoe. In all of our trucks, there's real first aid kits, not Band-Aids and electrical tape, real first aid kits mounted on the back of the headrest of each truck. Because if you are on a job site that happens to have an OSHA Class B kit that complies with 308.1, and it's in the truck, you ever seen a paving job? It's in the truck. Which truck? The white one. They're all white. The white 1-ton 4-door. They're all white 1-ton 4-doors. Which truck? See, now we're burning time. So it just boggles my mind that an entire subset of industries, trillions of dollars in revenue and GDP, we hyperfixate on, do you have your hard hat? Do you have your steel toes? Do you have your Z87 safety glasses? But we openly violate 308.1. So as a conversation piece for all my brothers and sisters out there that are working in job sites, job spaces where you have to have PPE, appropriate PPE. This is personal protective equipment. This keeps you from dying if you have a critical bleed in the arms or the legs, the extremities. This is the ultimate piece of PPE. It's absurd that we'd be like, hey man, don't get sawdust in your eyeballs today. But if you get a major laceration to your arm or your leg, you're just gonna die. Maybe we'll find some duct tape. So I wanna give that to you so you can have a conversation with your safety people and ask them the direct question, why are we okay with openly violating ANCISA 308.1? Because you make us do all these other, I have spent years of my life sitting through safety briefs, especially in the wind industry, power construction industry. Years of my life have been spent in Connex boxes or classrooms hearing somebody go, so on the inside of your hard hat here, there's a little stamp that lets you know that when your hard hat was made and when it expires, so you don't want your hard hat to expire because, well, then that would be bad because then it could crack and then maybe not protect your noggin. I know. I've heard this spiel 100 times. I can give this spiel. But we're not carrying around a $30 life-saving piece of equipment in our pocket. And for everybody's like, $30? You ever seen those carbon fiber hard hats? They're hundreds of dollars. You know how much a good pair of work boots is? Hundreds of dollars. But I don't got $30. You spent more on White Monsters and Zyn today than what a tourniquet costs. Okay? And I'm not knocking White Monsters and Zins. I'm just saying there's a hierarchy of needs here. So, ANSI 308.1. Ask your safety people, why are we as an organization just completely nonchalant about violating 308.1? I would love an explanation. There were 5,283 fatal workplace accidents in 2024, 5,283 fatal workplace accidents in 2024 and 2.6 million non-fatal workplace accidents and injuries in 2024. It's an incidence rate of 3.5 per 100,000. Okay? 2.6 million non-fatal, praise the Most High, almost 5,300 fatal workplace accidents. You know how, like, we track all 144 lives that have been saved with our kits here. And this is not, I'm trying not to get on my soapbox. I'm trying to be chill. I'm trying to give you a little bit of information here. But I'm also a little underlyingly at YouTube this morning because we're supposed to have Jason from Kentucky Sustainable Living on this morning, and the largest company on planet Earth doesn't want to make the technology work the way it's supposed to work. So I digress. We've tracked all 144 lives saved to date with our kits, and many of them have been workplace accidents and injuries. There's a guy at a loading dock that a forklift operator forklift got away from him and put the fork through the guy's leg at the loading dock and basically severed his lower leg. And he started screaming. And somebody in the office heard him, happened to have had a kit from Refuge that had a real tourniquet in it, ran out there, slapped the tourniquet on, saved the guy's life. And it was just a normal day at a small warehouse, slow day, and boom, now we're in a life or death situation. Because 308.1 requires us to have these things. And even if it didn't, literally, a Lagazin costs more than this tourniquet does. Okay? So, prioritize appropriately. Were you going to say something?
Oh, we just got lots of people in the chat. Richard said that his brother popped a vein in his leg on a barbed wire fence on Monday.
Yep.
And his kit was too far away. Thank God it turned out to be minor. I mean, it could have been so much worse.
Listen, I am not the TACMed nerd. It may seem that way at times, but there's other facets of my life. And we are not a TACMed company. We are an education and instruction company that also provides American-made, extremely high-quality, best on planet Earth first aid kits based upon established experience, what people need, what people don't need. In an emergency, you don't need 2x2 gauze. That's a non-emergent situation. That's a green or a yellow if we're triaging. Probably green. If you're in the red, immediate, you need real first aid kits. That's what we sell, pre-hospital trauma medicine, right? I'm not a TACMed nerd. I love this stuff, but I don't geek out on it. I go with the data. And because I go with the data, this is completely unscripted. Watch this. I carry a first aid kit on my person all the time. Always. I have a tourniquet right here. I have wound packing, chest seals, shears, needle decompression. I've got massive bleeding in the extremities and the junctional areas, airway and respiratory, and a little package of Band-Aids for when my kids skin their knees or whatever. Right here on me all the time. And this is the Gen 0 prototype 1 of 1 ankle kit that I've been wearing every day for over a year. Before I wore it, some other brothers wore it. I was baptizing people in a lake in Kansas a couple weeks ago with this on my ankle in the lake. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Lauren's like, ew, because she's afraid of germs.
Did you forget to take it off? Or
I just don't care.
You're just like, I don't care.
I don't care, because it's fine. And then in this pocket, right here, not a TACMed nerd.
You keep showing that, and then people are like, I want that.
I have my flashlight, I have a soft T tourniquet, and I have a reload for my pistol in this pocket. Just a little pocket organizer right there that I whipped up on a sewing machine in 2 minutes over here. Yes, Lauren.
Oh, no, that was a stretch.
Oh, that was a stretch.
Not an arm.
So, my point is, I don't know where the point of injury is going to be. Just like, so, especially in the preparedness space, people nerd out on firearms, right? And I love firearms. I'm a constitutional literalist. I'm a huge Second Amendment supporter. There is a belt fed machine gun right there. Right there. First thing you see when you walk in the office. FAFO, bro. Don't come here with hate in your heart. Comma. We hyperfixate on these firearms as if they're problem solvers for everything. And you know, I have 100% EDC carry, everyday carry compliance. Cool, me too. If I'm awake, there is a gun on my person. I would show you it right now, but YouTube hates that. There is a Glock 19 right now on my person.
I didn't know you could say that.
Yeah, I can say whatever I want, First Amendment. But you know what I've used a lot more than the gun on my hip? First aid. So if we're just being rational here, we're just being statistical. I have a much greater incidence of needing first aid kits and real first aid kits than the gun on my hip. And I realize why? Because the firearm's critical, right? Because if somebody tries to kill me, I need to be able to do something about it. For sure. But it's not just people that try and kill you. It's work. It's driving. It's being a person. All these other things are trying to kill you. I was looking at this earlier. There are 13 car wrecks per minute in the United States of America. Every 4 to 5 seconds, there's another car wreck in the United States of America. And none of you, when you woke up this morning, hopped in your car, driving to work, thought, today's gonna be the day I get in a wreck. There's 13 wrecks per minute. Per minute. The Department of Labor says that there's 118 fatal wrecks per day in the United States of America. 118 per day in the United States of America. And that's passenger vehicles. There's 150 to 165,000 semi-wrecks per year. Okay, heavy truck. About 4,500 fatalities from semi-wrecks every year, 107,000 injuries per year from semi-wrecks, and 66 or 2/3 of those those injuries rather, are from the occupants of the vehicle that the truck hits. Because your 80,000 pound Kenworth, badass truck, slams into a minivan or an SUV, which wins? Forces, mass times acceleration. You got 5,000, 6,000 pound vehicle versus an 80,000 pound vehicle. We've all seen it. We know who wins. The semi wins. And so 2/3 of the casualties and injuries related to a semi wreck are the other vehicle. And there's 13 wrecks a minute in the United States of America. So it's not just some bad guy. It's not Trende Aragua that's going to try and kill you. They might, which, and yeah, you should have a Glock on your hip or whatever you're into, pick a flavor. But it's everything else too, because you could be out working the fence line and stick a vein in your leg or your arm, and now you're bleeding. Is that life-threatening? No. Not if we get it under control, unless you have a pre-existing condition. Could be a problem. You could be at work, just cutting metal. I had a kid work for me back in the day. Brandon, where you at, Brandon? I hope you got your life together. Showed up to work, hungover. It was a Friday morning. And I knew it. I was like, I need to send this kid home. And I didn't because we had a bunch of work to do. And we were cutting sheet metal off of an old barn. And he had a 8-inch cutting wheel on a big grinder. And it wasn't 2 minutes in. Ah! And he wasn't paying attention. Thing jumped and he laid it right across the top of his thigh. About a 8-inch long. Not even a laceration because it was a grinding wheel. It was an 8-inch long burn deep into his thigh. Ah! Just random. Trende Aragua, the Russians, the Chinese did not show up in the barn and cut Brandon's leg. Okay? He did. And he was on my crew. It wasn't on my crew very long after that because he was already on the fence anyway. And I was like, hey, we're going to take you to the hospital. You're going to get some stitches, and then you're going to get pink slipped, homie, because you suck. I genuinely hope he doesn't suck anymore, but he did at the time. So my point here is, we are doing things that are dangerous every day. And because we understand that the world is dangerous, one of the ways that we try and mitigate that danger is by carrying, EDC stuff, pistol, reload, lighter, knife, tourniquet, real first aid. And if you're in the trades, or you're doing oil and gas, or you're doing metal work, or energy, paving. We've got a buddy. I won't tell you where and I won't tell you who because the family deserves their privacy. But there was a guy that tried to hop in between a couple slow-moving train cars, and he didn't do it well enough, and he lost both of his legs. And the only reason he didn't die was somebody on the train had a little bit of first aid training, and the ambulance happened to be 3 minutes away. National statistical average for ambulance response times, 47 minutes. So the father was on this guy's side at the time. But why would you do that? You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. Don't be trying to jump in between trains. But they've had other guys, and every industry has men and women that get injured or killed in it every day. And so I just want to let you know, ANSI ISEA 308.1. Hopefully I've hit this hard enough. If you work with your hands for a living, especially if you're on a big job where you have like centralized, EHS, emergency health and safety, or safety personnel, whatever, I would genuinely ask them, why are we so comfy violating this OSHA statute when we don't violate all these other ones? I had to have fall protection, wind turbines. I'm climbing hundreds of feet in the air. I had a safety guy tell me I had to put a fall protection harness on to climb up on the back of a concrete truck. It was 10 foot 6 high. I'm 6 foot tall. The lanyard is 6 foot long. I said, if I fall off this truck, my face is gonna be in the dirt before the lanyard pops. I said, well, it's OSHA regulation. I said, actually, that's not the OSHA regulation. That's a U regulation. Yeah, I got to have it on, but at a height of 10 foot. It's like, well, that's what we came up with. Okay, I got to do that so that if I fall off the concrete truck, nothing happens. Okay, you are required to have these, and let's not miss this, and be trained on their use. And everybody's just skipping right over it. What do you got, Lorraine?
Well, not just that. When we were doing our giant project about all of this, what they suggest is literally the minimum. Some of the stories we heard about a guy that pulled the wrong lever, covered himself in asphalt. His brother-in-law.
A dump truck full of asphalt.
He died, but his poor brother-in-law was sitting there trying to pull him out and burning himself.
Yep.
Were they prepared for that?
Nope.
I mean, the minimum that OSHA suggests is that it is the minimum.
It's a minimum.
We had lots of people saying stuff. Play dangerous games, get dangerous prizes. Yeah, don't jump through trains ever. Kentucky Sustainable is in the chat.
Oh, what's up, KSL? Sorry, bro. We've been trying.
I did want to make a note about that class, guys. This is our only on-the-road class currently. And it's an amazing price, and you can win a spot because he is giving one away. So if you buy a ticket to the festival, you get entered in to win a spot to that class, and the class is filling up. So Kevin is that. This is the Fed I was talking about. It's not Jason. What's up, Fluster Cluck Farms?
What's up, Clusterfuck? Tell you guys a funny story. So, a couple nights ago, we're back at the house, me and my wife, and she's like, words to the effect of, she's like, hey, does this sound weird to you? I'm like, what's up? She's like, somebody wants a quote on 100 basic vital sets. I'm like, it's not necessarily weird. I'm like, who are they? And she's like, it's Mudsmith. I'm like, Mudsmith? What the hell's a Mudsmith? So I started doing what I do a little bit of OSINT. They're an oil and gas company out in West Texas. And I'm like, either they're really big and they have 100 safety guys that need vital sets, which is great, awesome. Let's have a chat. You guys know how to use them, da 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 da, right? Or they've been hacked. And so she starts reading the email to me from Mudsmith, and it's like, "Hello, sales. Thank you for make such good product. Please to send for 100x basic vitals set for make happy face, no die, smile face." And I'm like, yeah, these people got hacked. So I do some more quick OSINT, and the email signature, I find the personal cell phone of the guy, which was not in the email, personal cell phone of the guy whose name is in the email signature, and I call him up and I'm like, "Hey man, are you John Doe?" And he's like, "Yup." I was like, "Are you with Mudsmith?" And he goes, "I haven't been with Mudsmith for 12 years. I was like, "Oh, well, somebody's using your name." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "It's not Mudsmith, it's China." He was like, "What?" "Well, I don't know anything about that. I haven't been with them for 12 years. I was like, "Cool." So I called them yesterday and I said, "Hey, just so you're aware, the Chinese have spoofed your website, hacked your system, and are requesting, they're trying to spend out of your accounts, probably, and we don't have an existing account with Mudsmith, but probably on terms, and you're going to accrue a whole bunch of operational debt because somebody is acting as an agent of Mudsmith who's not you." And they were like, "Yep." And two West Texas girls and they're on the phone, and they were just having a big laugh. And I was like, "I figured when I saw where your address was at that it wasn't you. You guys don't sound Chinese." And they're like, "No, we certainly ain't Chinese." And I was like, "Okay, cool." But that's really interesting. That's something to be aware of. We had a vendor over here in Fort Smith that somebody did that to them, and they billed us. We got a bill from them. This was a couple years ago. We got a bill from them, and it basically got auto paid because we try and be that way, right? Get a bill from a vendor, pay it. And then we got another bill from that same vendor, and it was like, "Well, we just paid you," and it was 26 grand, I think. And they're like, "You didn't pay us 26 grand. It's like, here's the bank data. Here's the ACH number. We paid you." And they were like, "That's not our bank account." I was like, "Well, then why do I have this invoice from you?" And they're like, "We never sent that invoice." I was like, "Oh, you got hacked, homie." And long and short, we lost that 26 grand. So I guess to all our business owners and entrepreneurs out there, accuracy matters. I would just make sure, I would just confirm. We had another vendor who was like, "Hey, you haven't paid us in months." It was like, we don't roll that way. What are you talking about?" All of their invoices were going into the spam folder. I was like, "You could have just called us. Be like, 'Hey man, what's up with that invoice?'" We'd be like, "I never got it." "Oh, it's in the spam folder."
6 months later.
6 months, literally 6 months later. It was like, "We're homies. We love you guys." They're like, "We love you too." I was like, "Then why didn't you call me 5 months ago and be like, 'Hey, how come you haven't paid me?'" And so we paid him. We made it current because it was going into the spam folder. And so accuracy matters. It matters a lot. And so if you're paying, make sure when you're paying, you're paying it to the right person. It's probably worth, in today's day and age, it's probably worth a phone call or a quick text and be like, "Hey man, got your invoice, just confirming you sent this invoice." And if they give you a little pushback, be like, I heard Bear on the internet, he said that Mudsmith got hacked and they're trying to buy all kinds of stuff from people. And it's crafty. I don't like it. It's subversive, it's dangerous. And make no mistake, man, the Chinese government is not friends of the American people. And in China, under the CCP, Communist Chinese Party, all businesses are de facto tied to the Chinese government. They are all agents of the Chinese government, whether they want to be or not. Now, I imagine that there are good people in China that want to praise their God, love their kids, lead a good life, and die happy. Cool, me too. And we could probably see eye to eye on those things. But the overarching structure of the CCP requires all businesses to fall under the umbrella of the CCP. Tony from LC Sign on Instagram, love that guy. He's funny as hell. I will never buy from him. You know why I will never buy from him? Number one, made in China. Even if it's excellent quality, made in China. Number two, he has to be tied to the CCP. Has to be. And it's the CCP, their government and pseudo-governmental organizations that are doing things like this to American companies. And so they get the revenue, they undermine the brand reputation of these companies that they're screwing. And let's bring it back around, let's make it relevant. ANSI 308.1. OSHA, the OSHA statute says it has to be a commercially available windlass tourniquet. There are lots of commercially available windlass tourniquets that are not real tourniquets. This is a real cat. If you go on Amazon, or your safety guy goes on Amazon and buys 4 air quote cat tourniquets for $20, those aren't real tourniquets. And they will break and people will die. And that safety person and or you will be civilly, if not criminally negligent. And here's why. Because that device that you purchased on behalf of your company is not an FDA approved medical device. Do I love the FDA? No, I do not. But this is the world that we live in. These are the rules that we have to adhere to. This is an FDA approved medical device. It will work. I have some of these cats that I was EDCing, carrying around in my pocket for so long that they're literally falling apart and they still work. And the real cat Gen 7 that's falling apart works better than a brand new fake one, okay? So you want to buy real equipment, you want to buy made in America. Don't support the Chinese Communist Party. It's just a matter of time before we end up going to a hot war with them anyway. We are in a cold war with them right now that's below the threshold of physical violence, but we are absolutely engaged in political and financial violence with China and have been for a long time. So beware the scammers. Don't pay a bill unless you got to actually pay the bill. If something looks weird, it's probably weird to look into it. And buy real stuff because literally your life depends on it. You know what I mean, Christine?
What?
You know what I mean.
Sure.
Sure. Christine knows what I
What
mean.
he said.
Terry knows what I mean.
Absolutely.
We got any questions from the chat?
Nathaniel just grabbed his spot for Kentucky Sustainable.
Nathaniel did?
Yeah, for his
Awesome.
class, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that real quick. I forgot to tell you with semis. Semis, again, 165,000 wrecks a year. 2/3 of fatalities and injuries are the other guy that the semi hits. So semi drivers, all my semi drivers out there who are listening to this, you know that DOT requires you to have a fire extinguisher for fire suppression. Why do you not have a real first aid kit in your truck? Your semi, the tractor, costs $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. One steer tire, $800 to $1,200. And you're telling me the company doesn't have money? This, a bleeding prevention kit, this is $100. $100. $100. You can't buy 1/10 of a tire for your truck for that, but this can save somebody's life. Okay? You can get a travel fact, mount it on the headrest. We are running a promo via email, if you're not signed up for the email right now, on travel facts. My point is, especially when we get into the freight industry, everything's expensive. Everything's expensive. It just is, because it's bigger, it's more heavy duty. Right? And so these semis, that 2/3 of the people that are injured or killed by them aren't the semi driver, they're the people that the semi driver hits. And DOT says you have to have a fire extinguisher, but you don't have a trauma first aid kit. That's retarded, negligent. Top five states: Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, Virginia. Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, Virginia, for semis killing people or injuring people. So if you're a driver or a semi-driver in Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, or Virginia, knowing there's 13 motor vehicle accidents per minute and 118 fatalities a day, why do you not have the stuff that you need? If I told you 118 people a day were killed by the Sinaloa cartel, and the top 5 states that the Sinaloa cartel is is operating it. And when I say killed, I mean they're rolling up on you with AKs and doing hits in people's driveways as they're getting ready for work. If I said the top 5 states were Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, Virginia, for random people getting killed by guys with AKs, you would not walk out of your house without body armor on. You'd be strapped, bro. 16 mags on your SOE war belt, ready to go. A couple of quart canteens, roll a Zin, some instant coffee, right? Hey, babe, it's a war zone out there. I guess we're going to work. But for some reason, we all get behind the steering wheel and turn into retards. It's fine. Everything's fine. Becky's over here texting on her phone going 80 and a 65, driving a 7,000 pound, SUV, not paying attention. And I'm like, it's fine. It'll be fine. It's okay. If something bad happens, the ambulance will get here. 75 to 90% of trauma victims don't survive to the hospital. 75 to 90%, depending on which study you look at. We'll just go with 75. You got a 3 in 4 chance of dying before you get to the hospital in trauma medicine. In America, what's trauma? Critical bleeding. 75% chance, even when the ambulance gets there, that you'll be dead by the time you get to the hospital. So if you knew 118 people a day were getting whacked by the cartels, you would change the way you lived your life. But for some reason, we're all stress inoculated to driving. It's fine. I don't have to worry about it. Nope, it's not fine. Don't be retarded. What do you got, Lauren?
5 versus 1 said, I've been in one gunfight, but discovered two car wrecks where I rendered aid. TQ and aid were way more useful than a gun.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And if, let's say you get into a gunfight, you got your Glock 19X, 147 grain jacket at hollow points, couple of reloads on you. You do your dry fire every day. You make sure you make time to go to the range and not just shoot standing still, but shoot, move, communicate. And you get into a gunfight, and you have to use your defensive weapon for preservation of life. You know what you need after that? First aid, dummy. Sorry. I love you guys.
Striker Cade said it's even more fun to direct traffic with all the Beckys.
I'll tell you what, yeah, so Striker K, the industry that he's in, is like traffic flow, road control. Striker, I gotta connect you with a brother of mine because I was looking at some data that he collected on that. In a 24-hour period, in one work zone, just one work zone, in just one state in a 24-hour period, 89% of drivers exceeded the posted speed limit. I think it was more than 50% of drivers exceeded the posted speed limit by 20 miles per hour or more. And the posted speed limit was 65, and the highest speed clocked was 125 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
In that speed zone. And we know from research that we've been doing working for a corporate client here, there's 168,000 work zone accidents, motor vehicle accidents, 168,000 work zone motor vehicle accidents per year. You're working in the work zone, you've got your class 3 vest on and your hard hat and your Z87 eyewear and your steel toes, and you've got your attenuation up, flaggers are out, everything's by the book. And here comes Becky, barreling through your people. Now what do? Where's the first aid kit? Who knows? Has anybody been trained to use the first aid kit? Do we even know where it is? Yeah, it's in the white truck with 4 doors and an antenna sticking off of it. Cool. Where's that? Well, that's Boss's truck. Where's Boss? He's 3 miles up the road reconning the next part of the job. And you're trying to call him frantically, Boss, we need the first aid kit. But he's sending you to voicemail because he's on the phone with Boss, and he'll call you back in a minute. And people are dying. You need trauma medical capability at the point of injury. And since we don't know where the point of injury is, it needs to be on your person. Individual first aid kits, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. Everybody understands this. If you're in combat arms role, you get it. I need it on my person because I don't know when this is going to go sideways, but it could go sideways. And it's not worth dying because I didn't have $100 worth of stuff on me. Okay? But, oh, well, that's because, yeah, they're in the Army. That's what they do. They're soldiers. But there's 118 fatalities a day. One wreck every 5 to 6 seconds. 13 wrecks a minute. 13 wrecks a minute in the United States of America. just shy of 20,000 automobile accidents a day in the United States of America. If there were 20,000 attempted hits from the cartels a day, you'd never leave your house. Or if you did, you'd look like John J. Rambo in Rambo 3. Okay? Chuckle from Terry. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate you, bro. What are you trying to say over there, Lauren? Come to Kentucky Sustainable Living class. It's $200, which is a huge discount. It's like 60% off. Why? Because we love Jason from KSL. All right.
And they can win it. They can actually win the class by buying their event ticket.
Right. And so our class is a separate cost from the event ticket for Kentucky Sustainable Living, which is very, very reasonably priced as well. I will be at the Kentucky Sustainable Living event. Makes sense because I'll be teaching there, but I'm also speaking there. William Bond, Billy Bond, if you're permaculture, homesteady, anything like that, you're a little bit crunchy. If you've dabbled in sourdough or you know how to trim a goat's hoof on occasion, this is the event for you. All right. If you lost track of how many chickens you have, if you've ever had eggs on your counter, this is the event for you. All right. So KentuckySustainableLiving.com. Yes, I know it's a long URL. He needs to buy KSL.com. But until then, KentuckySustainableLiving.com. And you can find our class, RefugeMedical.com, under the training tab. Deeply discounted. I'll be there. Mike's going to be there. It's a bleeding prevention course. Cool. I'm going to teach you the entirety of the SMART-G algorithm because I'm me and we're going to be there and you guys need to know this stuff. Because 118 people a day die in motor vehicle accidents and there's 20,000 wrecks a day in the United States of America. And if that was gunplay, you guys would lose your crap. But because it's not gunplay, because it's a vehicle, you're just stress inoculated to it. But every one of you drives.
KSL.com is $10,000.
So, that's an easy target to hit. How about KYSL.com? Don't even try and entrepreneur me, bro. 10K, we'll find 10K. That ain't a big deal. You're going to do a fundraiser at the event to buy KSL.com, and you're going to pitch it as I'm going to make everybody's lives way easier. And when we launch KSL.com, we're going to do a special community at KSL.com for the plank holders that helped us buy this. And that community right there, that's it's typically, it would be $50 a month. But for your $500 donation, you will get lifetime access. Cool. So now we only need 20 of those.
Crowdfunding this. Jason also said that there's a charity auction on Saturday night for Caleb House.
For Caleb House. Little organization called Caleb House with a K, calebhouse.org. There's a charity auction. The whole thing's going to be an awesome event. Now, remember, when you drive to the Kentucky Sustainable Living event, you're going to have your bleeding prevention kits and your travel facts. And like, I was texting with somebody the other day. Which somebody? You might have heard of him. His name's Wrangler Star. My life's amazing. What's up, Doc?
Good morning.
Morning. You know how, like, give me an example of how you have a cool life. Me and Wrangler Star were texting the other day because he's awesome. And we were actually talking about, so I'm part of his war band, his paid community on YouTube. And he's gotten really serious about fitness and diet here lately. And I was telling him, like, hey, thank you. Appreciate the encouragement. And we ended up talking about medicine. And I told him, I said, my trucks are set up as a combination gun truck ambulance because the county that I live in, which is one of the more populous counties in Oklahoma. You take out Oklahoma City and Tulsa, nobody goes there, nobody wants to go there, not from around here. I live in one of the more populous counties, and there's not that many people here, okay? We have 8 ambulances in the county, 3 of them run. The other 5 are down for maintenance, and they've been down for maintenance for years because either they can't get the parts or they don't have the budget to actually fix them, okay? So we're operating at 37.5% ambulance capacity. EMTs start at $14.50 an hour. You can make more money working at the Tyson Chicken Farm than you can being an emergency medical technician in this county. The sheriff's deputies start at $15 an hour. Got a little bit of training. And there's more of them than there are EMTs. I don't think we have a paramedic. But even then, there's not a whole lot of law enforcement, and it's a big county. So My trucks are set up as combination gun trucks and ambulances because, y'all forbid I need either of these two things, I need to have them. Because if I have cell service where I am at, which is questionable in this county, and I call 911, you're talking an hour, maybe an hour before somebody gets to you. That's a long freaking time if I've got life and death problems to solve. So, when you go to the Kentucky Sustainable Living event, you will set your vehicle up as a combination ambulance gun truck because that's just what we do in 2025. Because we take radical amounts of personal responsibility because we happen to the world. The world doesn't happen to us. We are sons and daughters of the Most High. Messiah himself said, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak, your most valuable garment, and buy one. And Messiah himself is the first one to institute the Stop the Bleed protocol when the woman with the blood issue reached out and touched the hem, the zitziot of his garment, and her blood stopped. So is it biblical to stop bleeding? You bet your ass it is. Is it biblical to carry a sword? You bet your ass it is. Are we Christians, which is derived from the word Christios, which means followers of Christ? Yup. Followers. That implies movement, walking the way that he did, doing things the way that he did, having compassion on people, loving people, but also not tolerating unjust authority, not subsidizing your existence to the government that's trying to kill you anyway. His government did kill him, and the servant is not greater than the master. So we require a significant amount of personal responsibility, radical amounts of personal responsibility. And that includes keeping the blood inside your body and making sure you can respirate. Now, let's take it one step further. What if it's not you? What if it's your wife? What if it's your kids? What if it's your best friend? Do you want to live with the feelings of inadequacy and the loss and the guilt and the shame for the rest of your life? Because instead of doing the things that you need to do, being adequately prepared to treat the most likely threats, not the most dangerous, the most likely threats, I've given you all the statistics today, you did a bunch of dumb shit instead. And you didn't prepare when you could have. You didn't train when you could have. You didn't prioritize appropriately. And now somebody you love, somebody that was their care was entrusted to you by the creator of the universe is dead because you didn't take it seriously enough. I don't think I could live with that. In fact, I know I couldn't live with that. That's why I'm me. Gun truck, ambulance. There is not a person that I love that will die because I didn't do the things that I know to do that I was commanded to do because I didn't take the responsibility over that situation. I could not live with myself. And so I've mitigated that risk by being as prepared as possible, as equipped as possible, and as trained as possible because I can handle a lot of things, y'all. I do handle a lot of things every day. I can't handle that. I'm not gonna watch my wife's life slip through my hands because I don't know what to do. Because I didn't take the time, spend a couple of bucks to be adequately prepared for that. I cannot live with that. I will not live with that. That's not an option. What do you got, Lauren?
Well, we're coming up on our 9 o'clock, but I didn't want to jump off without talking about the fact that we have added new courses to the site.
Yeah.
Including another Train the Trainer.
Yep.
A Refuge Responder, an Essential Responder, and the Wilderness Responder.
Yep.
So make sure you check out the training tab, guys. And the remote responder is tomorrow. So if you can't travel, this is your chance to get your feet wet. Get the basics going.
I am teaching our entire 4-hour block of instruction on S-March E, including lecture and practical application, via a private YouTube link tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time. It's a $99 class. I don't care if you spend $99 and watch it with your whole family in your living room. You spend $99 and you watch it with your whole volunteer fire department or your church security team. I don't care because people need to know this. Okay, it's $99. It's also free with orders over $299 right now. Okay, and it is remote responder. You should have your training kit or a kit to train with. Because we're going to apply tourniquets, we're going to apply chest seals, we're going to pack wounds. We're going to get reps and sets, develop the automaticity to be able to do this stuff under stress when needed, so we don't have to think about it for the preservation of life, because we have a time problem. And if I'm burning time trying to figure out how to do it for the first time, statistically people die. If I'm not, I'm just doing it. And I've done it a bunch. The Father keeps sending me to people who are broken and bleeding. Cool. Literally and metaphorically. The Father keeps sending me to them and them to me. All right, cool. But if I have the automaticity, the reps and sets where I don't have to think about it, it just happens for the preservation of life. That's tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central, remote responder. Note that all of our classes have the word responder in them. That's what I want you to condition your mind and your heart towards. There's a problem, and I'm going to respond to it. I'm going to go happen to that problem. That problem's not going to come happen to me, okay? And so Wilderness Responder is up. Wilderness Responder is a 3-day course being taught in the field. It is the accredited ECSI 36-hour comprehensive wilderness curriculum that we are teaching. The price includes more than $500 in value of kit that you take home with you, your Wilderness Responder kit. It also includes the administrative fees for taking the exam, your field guidebook, right? And so we'll be teaching out of the book. There's a whole field guide. It's 178 pages covering all the medicine. And there's a lot of medicine in Wilderness Responder. It's not TCCC or SMARCH-E in the woods. There'll be a little bit of that. There's medicine, differential diagnosis, and dealing with all kinds of comprehensive problems, from sport medicine to internal injuries to the whole nine. And we're teaching it in the field. So you will be living out of your rucksack for 3 days. 3 days, 2 nights in the field. But what if it rains? You think it ever rains in the field? Do you think incidence of injury goes up or down when it's raining and people are in the field? If it rains, we'll do it wet. Who gives a shit? Okay? So that's a 3-day event. I will be there. Mike will be there. Heath will be there. Philip will be there. And Striker Cade will be there. Ed from the Iridium Group will be there. Have an awesome cadre. We may even have some more guest instructors coming as well. So there's going to be a super high instructor to student ratio. It's only 20 seats. It can't be more than 20 seats, because if it was more than that, we would lose control, and control equals safety. You don't want to walk into the woods with 20 people and walk out with 18 and be like, where'd the other 2 guys go? That's a problem, okay? So it's there is not another class like this, because it also includes basically your whole little bug out bag shakedown scenario here. Look at the packing list on the website. It's significant. You got to have all those things. There'll be a layout. If you fail the layout, I don't care if you spent the money for the class, bought a plane ticket, shipped all your gear out here, get here, and you fail the layout, you can't come into the woods. Simple as that. Because you won't have the requisite items to survive being in the woods for 3 days. Okay, so training starts upon receipt of the packing list. Learned that from a guy. So, Wilderness Responder, it's coming, and that's an accredited class, 36-hour comprehensive class that we're teaching over the course of 72 hours in the field, in addition to bugging out, in addition to prepper stuff, in addition to fire making, in addition to bushcraft, in addition to shelters, in addition to knots and lashings and rope making and all these other things. Very cool class. We do one of these a year. You miss this one, I'll see you basically Labor Day weekend next year. We also have the 1-day class, which is the what's that? Not the Essential Responder.
The Refuge Responder.
Refuge Responder.
That's actually coming up, I believe. That is coming up in June 22nd.
So that's a morning of lecture and practical application, no stress, then low stress, crawl, walk, run, and then you will run scenarios in the afternoon. That's a 1-day class. We also, I just submitted a proposal for a custom TCCC plus Force on Force law enforcement class. So if you're in an agency or department, if that's something that you're into, we do have those blocks of instruction. We do teach those blocks of instruction that look a little bit different than a civilian class does. And then we also have the 2-day Essential Responder coming up as well. So day 1 is a morning of lecture and practical application. Day 2 is intro to scenarios. You'll work a scenario in the afternoon. And then day 3 is Force on Force and scenario, or day 2, which is Responder 3, is Force and Force and scenario-based training all day with some PT. So don't be an ass. come to class. I'm very happy that Radio Made Easy is sold out. I thought that it was going to, and a lot of these other classes are selling out quickly. If you're anywhere near Kentucky, go to that class. That's the only civilian class that we are teaching this year on the road. Subject to change, maybe, but Baby Bear number 5 cooking in the oven. Bear, how come you're not teaching in Saskatchewan? Baby Bear number 5 cooking in the oven. When are you coming to Bayonne, New Jersey? I'm not. Would you consider a class in the Mojave Desert? Probably not. Okay? So, right now, the only class that I've got booked on the road is at Kentucky Sustainable Living. And the likelihood that I do more on the road in the next 12 months is going down, not up, because, praise the Most High, Baby Bear number 5 cooking in the oven. So, I would strongly suggest, if you haven't figured it out already, KentuckySustainableLiving.com, get your event tickets, RefugeMedical.com, training tab for the class that's there. What else you got, Lauren?
Sauson asked what night the Caleb House auction was. That is going to be Saturday night.
Saturday night. I know Salson. Salson came to the Tallahassee class with Angry American 4 years ago, and has come to a bunch of other events since then.
We also have an Essential Responder on the books. That's a 2-day event, guys. That's going to be in October.
26, 27 October.
Yeah, so make sure you check out the training tab because we have almost every class we teach, we have one coming up.
And I'm going to have some incredibly well-known, incredibly well-respected, incredibly capable tactical trainers coming out late fall, early winter for legit tac med, like civilian tac med, blue gun force on force, and then also we'll be doing live ammunition, pistol, and rifle. So stay tuned. If you're not on the email blast, what are you doing with your life?
For real. You're
What
missing it all.
I know that everybody else is sending you emails. I know that you got 400 emails this week from Palmetto State Armory wanting to know if you're going to buy a 9mm Jackal short-barreled rifle this week. And the answer is no, you're not. You want to know why? Because you don't have enough friggin' medical equipment yet, and you already got 19 AR-15s. You don't need one of those. It's a cool little PDW. I can put it in my backpack, and then in case something happens out in the world, I can pull it out of my back. And nobody will know that I have a gun because it's in a backpack, and then I can pull it out, and I can be the hero. Yeah, or you can sit in front of a grand jury because one of your rounds hit somebody they weren't supposed to hit, and everybody does know that you have a gun in that backpack because you look like you, and why the hell else would somebody be wearing that backpack at a school function or out on the public square, on Saturday? It's the Harvest Festival. Yeah, dude in Oakley's with a backpack. That guy has a gun. All right? You're not fooling anybody. You don't need another gun. You need more freaking training with the guns that you already have, with the medical equipment that you don't have enough of yet, and with everything else as well. You need to go train your body as well. And I will say this, when it comes to wilderness responder, look at the loadout. Throw that stuff in a rucksack now. Start moving your body, because if you die on the way in and ruin my class, we're all going to pee on you. That's what's going to happen. The whole class. That's the protocol. Somebody dies on the march in, we're peeing on you. All right? Okay? Everybody tracking? And you don't want to go out that way. Nobody will sing songs about you. History will forget your name. It'll be like,
there'll be a song about
where's Bill? Oh, you mean the guy we peed on? That guy? He's not Bill anymore. He's P guy. He's dead. He's over there on the side of the road. We'll get him on the way back. What's left after the coyotes and the buzzards get him. All right? We're not ruining class because you can't carry your rucksack. So start doing your PT now. RefugeMedical.com. We love you. I appreciate you deeply. Thank you for being a part of what we do around here. I got to go teach in the classroom now. Who the hell is that? All right, proceed. Hey, we're talking to the internet. Hold on 1 minute.
Oh, never mind. Y'all talk to the internet.
I got to go. Some random guy just walked in here. I got to teach class. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Stay safe out there. Remember, 20,000 motor vehicle accidents a day, 118 fatalities a day. What are you going to do if it's you? And if the answer is, I don't know, or I don't know well enough, resolve to do better. Come see us. Call the store, shoot us an email, hit the chat on the website, refugemedical.com.
Hi.